All right, let's get right into it. It wasn't that long ago that the streaming industry was basically taking a victory lap, right? They did something nobody thought was possible. They killed piracy. But then, in this just incredible twist, the very same companies that won that war managed to bring their enemy back from the dead, and this time, it's stronger than ever. This is the story of a $113 billion wound that they gave to themselves.
I mean, just look at this reversal. It is night and day. Back in 2020, the conversation was pretty much over. Streaming won, period. Now, fast forward to today, and the headlines are the complete opposite. Piracy isn't just back, it's thriving. And the streaming giants? They're just bleeding money and subscribers left and right. So you have to ask yourself, how in the world did they mess this up so badly?
Okay, so to really get how big of a failure this is, you got to go back and remember the success. There was this brief, shining moment, you could call it a golden age, right around 2020. And for a little while there, streaming got everything right. The whole thing was built on this simple, unbeatable promise. All the shows and movies you could possibly want, super easy to get to, all for one low price. It was perfect.
And hey, the numbers totally back this up. The scale of their victory was just staggering. Piracy traffic completely tanked, hitting its lowest point in modern internet history. I mean, think about it. For just a few bucks a month, why would anyone bother with sketchy websites and torrents? It was a no-brainer. The industry had built a better mousetrap, and customers were more than happy to pay for it. The war was over. Or so it seemed.
So what went wrong? How did they fumble this so hard? Well, that victory, they completely squandered it. The industry basically committed what I'm going to call the 3 deadly sins. We're talking about a series of corporate decisions that just systematically betrayed the trust of their own audience and completely undid every single bit of progress they'd made. So let's break them down one by one.
Okay, sin number 1 is just pure old-fashioned greed. The price hikes, these weren't just little adjustments here and there. They were relentless. You see Netflix and HBO Max jumping 72% and 40%, which is already a lot. But then Disney Plus comes in and just explodes with a jaw-dropping 129% increase in just 5 years. That core promise of being affordable? Yeah, that was the very first thing to go out the window in this new war for profit. And on top of that greed, you have the problem of fragmentation. I mean, do you remember when it felt like Netflix had, well, everything? Now, if you want to watch the most popular shows, you've got to subscribe to like half a dozen different services. The Office is over on Peacock, Game of Thrones is on Max, all the Marvel stuff is on Disney Plus. So before you even know it, you've accidentally recreated the $100 cable bill. The very thing streaming was supposed to save us all from.
And this quote right here from Disney's CEO Bob Iger, it just perfectly sums up the mindset behind all of this. He says, "We would love to have the margins that Netflix has." See, the focus completely shifted. It wasn't about providing value to you, the customer, anymore. It was all about maximizing those profit margins, no matter the cost. It literally became a race to see who could squeeze the most cash out of every single subscriber.
All right, on to sin number 2, just straight-up hypocrisy. Check this out. Back in 2017, this was an official tweet from Netflix. They were the cool company, right? The one that got it? Sharing your account with your family or friends wasn't stealing. No, it was a sign of love. And they didn't just tolerate it, they celebrated it. And then you fast forward to today. That same love they were talking about, it'll now cost you an extra $7 a month. The same company that built its entire brand on being easy and connected suddenly started policing families and charging them for doing the exact thing they encouraged for years. The whiplash is just incredible.
So how did they justify this crackdown? Well, Netflix completely flipped the script. That love from their old tweet, suddenly it was rebranded as a massive crime wave. They started claiming that 100 million households were stealing the service. Can you believe that? The very same customers that used to wink at in their marketing were now being painted as common thieves. It was just a total fundamental betrayal of trust.
And that brings us to the third and maybe the most bizarre sin of them all, self-sabotage. I mean, this one is wild. Companies started actively deleting their own content. HBO spent hundreds of millions of dollars on its flagship show, Westworld, only to just erase it from its own platform. Then they follow that up by yanking 80 shows in a single day. Your watch list, your kids' favorite cartoons, poof, gone overnight.
So you're probably asking, why on earth would they do this? The reason is a super cold corporate strategy called content impairment. Basically, by removing a show from their library, a company can declare it a financial loss and get a nice little tax write-off. Oh, and it also means they don't have to pay residuals to the writers, the actors, the directors who actually made the thing. So, to put it simply, art was being systematically destroyed just to save a few bucks on taxes.
So as all these legal services got more expensive, more restrictive, and honestly just more unreliable, a huge vacuum was created. And guess what stepped in to fill that vacuum? A new and improved version of piracy. And the crazy irony here is that these pirate sites started offering everything that the official streaming services had just thrown away.
And if you compare the user experience, it's not even close. It's just stark. On one hand, you've got legal streaming, which now gives you limited libraries, rising costs, and this constant fear that your favorite show could just vanish. And on the other hand, modern piracy, which offers a universal library with basically everything ever made, no restrictions, it's free, and the content is permanent. It's amazing, really. The pirates ended up keeping every single promise that the streaming services broke.
And the result of all this? Well, it was one of the biggest migrations we've seen in recent internet history. Visits to piracy sites just exploded. We're talking over 216 billion in 2024. That's a 66% jump in just 4 years, right after they declared the end of piracy. People were absolutely voting with their clicks.
And you know, the modern pirate probably isn't who you think it is. This whole thing has gone completely mainstream. Get this, we're talking about 76% of Gen Z. And a lot of them still pay for legal services too. And it's become so seamless. 80% of it is just streaming now, not all those messy downloads from back in the day. It's so widespread that in a country like Sweden, a full quarter of the entire population pirates content. It's just a normal part of life now.
So what's the grand total? What's the final bill for all these mistakes? Well, we can now actually put a number on this self-inflicted wound. And let me tell you, the figures are absolutely catastrophic for the very industry that created this mess in the first place. By the year 2027, the industry is projected to lose $113 billion, and that's directly because of the piracy that they brought back to life. This isn't just some small miscalculation. This is one of the most expensive, colossal business blunders in the history of entertainment. And just to put that number into perspective for you, $113 billion is more than the entire GDP of a country like Morocco. It's enough money to fund all of NASA's missions. We're talking Mars, the Moon, everything, for over 4 years straight. That is the insane scale of the value they have just completely vaporized. And look, this isn't some far-off, maybe-it'll-happen projection. The bleeding is happening right now. These are the actual quarterly reports. Disney's streaming division lost $387 million in just one quarter. And Warner Bros. Discovery? They posted a staggering loss of over $10 billion. It's a total sea of red ink, and it's tied directly back to their own strategic failures.
And you know, it's not just about corporate balance sheets and angry shareholders. There's a massive human cost to all of this. An estimated 70,000 jobs in the American creative economy. We're talking editors, production assistants, all sorts of crew. Those jobs are lost every single year because of all this revenue just vanishing into the piracy ecosystem. When you actually map it all out, you can see this painfully predictable cycle of failure. Step 1, promise great value and convenience. Step 2, gain millions of loyal customers. Step 3, get greedy and prioritize profits over people. Step 4, betray that customer trust. Step 5, accidentally create your own better competition. And finally, Step 6, lose billions of dollars. It's a textbook case of a dominant industry getting arrogant and completely forgetting who it's supposed to serve.
And maybe the most damning part of this whole story? The very executives who steered the ship right into the iceberg? Well, they seem to have absolutely no idea how to turn it around. As one industry analyst put it so perfectly, the industry has no idea how to fix this mess. They broke their own business model, and now they have no clear plan to put it back together.
So it all leaves us with one fundamental question. The streaming industry forgot the most basic rule in the book. The customer is king. They chose short-term profits over long-term trust, plain and simple. And at the end of the day, when a company does that, who really ends up paying the price? Is it just the corporations with their billions and billions in losses? Or is it everyone else?